Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Tin Shed Shenanigans. My name's Noah, and today we are going to be working on this. This is a 301cc Predator motor that used to have a little water pump connected to it, but the water pump died, and the motor's been sitting for, I think, like a year. So we're going to see if we can get it running and running reliably. And then it'll be cool for other projects. So there is gas in it. It doesn't smell horrible. A little on-off switch. The wires are broken. Let's see if we've got oil. Oh. It do have oil. I don't know if you can see that, but that's a little milky. It smells kind of like gas. So that's cool. Let's just clean that little spot off the floor. So it's currently like 35 outside. So I've got a little space heater in here. That's why the window and the door is closed. So yeah, let's run an engine in an enclosed area with very minimal ventilation. Not for very long though. If we need to, we will open the door. So yeah, let's get started. Now that y'all are on a bit better of a level, and you can actually see, I currently have you propped up in my toolbox because I haven't gotten my stand yet. So yeah, I'm gonna move this light so it's not as much of a glare. And I'll focus all the light into blinding. Okay, that didn't help the glare at all. It actually made half the shade kind of dark. Alright, anyway, besides that, first we're going to check for spark. Ooh, cobwebs. That's always a good sign. And leaves. Spark plug is tight. Okay, I found it. Take your spark checker. All this is just a bulb, and it's similar to a test light. It just lets you know if you have spark or not. Whenever you're, checking a coil or you want to verify that you have a good spark plug or what have you. So I'm gonna go on this side so I can reach the pull cord, and oh my gosh. Okay, so it does have spark. That has been verified. The little light came on and everything. I really wish I could have showed y'all, but I only have two hands. Put this back where it belongs, so I know where it is next time. I only have two hands, so I can only do so much. I'll take my jacket off now, and on the door. Turn my heater back on, because it is, like I said, like 40 degrees right now, which I know for some people, oh, that's not cold. We're in Mississippi. We're not used to this. We're used to like 120. So, yeah. Next thing we're going to do is make sure that there is fuel going to the carburetor. You can use anything. I just happen to have this old pot laying around. You want to be able to catch the fuel, so you don't make a mess. Or, make a mess. It's up to you. I choose to not throw gas on my floor while I have a heater going in here. Okay, so it's like a 10 millimeter. Should have known. I don't knock stuff over. Actually, that is the bolt that removes the whole bowl. So there's, on most carburetors, most little small carburetors like this, you'll have but I mean, other than lawnmowers, you know, have these two little bolts on here. Most small engine carburetors have these two little bolts. This one holds your bowl on. You take that one off and your bowl's gonna come off. This one is like a little drain. So, you know, if you've got like bad fuel or, you know, dirt, water. Let's see if I can. Yeah, I'm really glad we did that because that is no bueno. Okay. See, that's why that's in there. And so you can, let me get y'all back where y'all can see. That way you can, you know, empty out everything. Okay, so now that we have all the grody, nasty fuel out of there, which eventually we will run a fuel filter because the fuel line just comes straight into the bowl. No filter. There is fuel in it, and it didn't smell horrible. Like, it didn't smell like anything. So, kind of thought I was good. But you can't remove that for some reason. It's spot welded in, which is dumb, but oh well. Now that we have all the grody, nasty stuff. Oh, I bet you I could remove this. That's just a vent. Oh, I'll mess with that later. Now that we have all this grody, nasty, dirt, rust mixture out of the bottom of the carburetor, I'm going to get y'all set back up and let's see if I can pull it, prime it up, and get it running. Okay, I got y'all set back up on the good old blue toolbox. We have fresh fuel. We have fuel in our bowl that is not that which I will environmentally dispose of properly. Give. Take off the airbox cover, make sure not, you know, sucking up a mouse nest or what have you. Might be able to actually see inside the carburetor a little bit better. Make sure it's not, you know, like completely junked up, because if it is, what we'll do is we'll just take the carburetor off, clean it out with some either brake clean or starting fluid, or get some clean gas and clean through everything. So, you know, I know with this angle you can't really, you know, see my face when I'm talking, but it's okay. We're figuring this out. You know, we're all learning together. So most of these little small engine air filters, most of those little small engine air filters have this little foam on them. That's called the pre-filter, and that just kind of gets like your main dirt, dust, especially if you're in a very dusty environment. You know, if you're just sort of happening to be running, you know, a water pump, you're probably in a pretty dusty environment. So everything looks good in there. Let me just throw it on the ground. It'll be fine. Let me get this back. Actually, I'm going to leave this off. There's the opening nut. Leave this off. Put this over on another project. Yeah, this is going to be very chaotic for the first, you know, handful of videos. I am very sorry about that. I'm trying to figure this whole YouTube thing out, you know. I'm doing it by myself for right now until I can have, you know, maybe a Saturday, maybe one weekend I will have someone film, so that way y'all can see exactly what I'm doing, and I can, you know, look at the camera and do this at the same time. And that way, if I'm like, oh guys, look at this right here, I'm not like, look at this, and then I look back and, you know, yeah. So we'll get there eventually, you know, maybe. Leaves and junk out of here. I'm going to stick this thing back on the ground. And okay, we're going to call this ground cam because I have you resting on 2 core batteries. So, a little bit of starting fluid. It is on choke. Fuel is apparently on. There's a little petcock in here. So, switch is turned on. Engage. Come on. Oh, I heard something. Oh, it wants to start so bad. Come on. Come on, girl. Okay, let's turn the choke off. Let it get as much air down its throat as it wants. Half choke, maybe? Whew. Come on. Maybe we can get it to pop off on some starting fluid. It'll want to run on its own. Whoo! Oh, thank you, finally. Oh boy. So, yeah, this is like one of the first few things that actually runs that I bought. Oh, come on. Turn choke off. Whew. Okay. Well, we heard it trying to pop off. I'm gonna breathe for a second because trying to pull start these things is fun to say the least. And I may disconnect the fuel tank and take the fuel tank from the Generac and, you know, put a fresh fuel source to it. Or, yeah, fuel's on. We may leave it. We may put some gas in a spray bottle if it's continuing to be the way it is. And then we will do an oil change on it with some, you know, bargain oil. Because it's a bit over full. Looks kind of milky. But it's on choke. Choke is now off. Whew. So I have a pair of vice grips holding that down. Let me turn choke back on. That seemed like the only time it wanted to start was on choke. Hey! Come on. Oh. Oh, come on. Well, it's no longer a will it run. Now will it run and idle? Turn choke off. It smells like it's running rich. Let me actually stop messing with the throttle cable. Maybe that'll do something. Come on. Whew. Give it a little snort. Hey! Come on. Well, cool, it ran and idled until I started messing with the throttle. Let me pop the air filter back on and we'll see if we can't get it started again, because that's probably what's happening, is it's sucking too much air for the fuel it's pulling through. So yeah, let me put that air filter back on. When it was running, it was so loud you couldn't hear anything, and I didn't even try to, think to talk, because let me open this door. Actually, there's a lot of gas in here, and I kind of want to be alive, so let me prop this door open. Stay. Cool. Okay, the door is now propped open with a heater, and it still smells like just straight gas in here. So, yeah, I'm gonna get y'all set back up, and now that I've got the air filter on it, I'm gonna see if I can't just kind of get it to sit here and idle. I'm gonna let it run as long as it possibly can, so that way any of that bad gas that's in there, it'll burn it out, and then I'll put some fresh gas in it, start it up again, and see if it runs a lot better. Hopefully it does. If anything, we'll pull that bowl off, clean out the floats, the bowl, just to keep all that sediment and stuff from going back into the jets and everything like that. So let me get y'all set up, and I'll... All right, so choke, put that on, got the fuel on. Okay, so as soon as I took it off choke, it kind of started to die. Huh. Okay. Alright, it's back on choke. That time it was on choke and then just kind of died. Maybe it doesn't like choke anymore? Okay, what I'm gonna do is put it back on top of this pressure washer. Now that we know it runs, what the best thing to do is, let me get y'all a little better of a spot. This is the main fuel line. To keep from making a massive mess while you're doing this, try and pinch that fuel line off, and that'll just kind of stop it from going to the bowl. And then we'll grab 10 millimeter, come over here, and crack this bottom one. And okay, fuel. Oh my, that is nasty. So y'all see that. I'm gonna get my brake clean and kind of clean that out. All right, now we have our bowl cleaned out, which is what it should look like, not how it was. So let's pop that off. And that's kind of... All right, so this is actually the perfect time to show everybody, if you do not know how a carburetor float bowl works, how it works. Okay, so let's say you need your bowl to fill up. All right, it's filling, and it stops. There is this little valve and spring that's in there. It's kind of hard to see it, but that little brass piece, if it'll focus. Come on, focus. Hocus pocus, there's pizza on your focus. The little brass piece. Right, oh, come on. Had you focused. That little black dot right there. I can't get it to focus. There's a spring and a check valve that it runs until it sees that the float is at the desired level and it stops the fuel flow. So as long as that is down, it will just sit here and continually pour fluid and fuel, which this fuel actually looks pretty dang good. So I can clamp this line back off. And yeah, so this is all the junk that was in the carburetor bowl. The carburetor probably needs to be gone through, and I'll probably do that later. Right now, we're just trying to get this thing to run. So, yeah. And then I'll get an oil change done on it because I said I would. And that oil's kind of milky, and it's probably just from it sitting outside and, you know, being neglected for a year. So we're gonna get this carburetor bowl back on, which I may be able to do it with one hand. Just try to remember how it was clocked before. It was about like that. But it's okay if it rotates some. About like that. Okay. And then you'll get your wrench. And don't gorilla the thing down. Just kind of snug it up a little bit. There we go. You just don't want your bowl to move. And then we'll take this off and make sure we don't have any leaks anywhere. It should be filling. Okay. So it's good. We don't see anything, you know, pouring out. All right. So we should be good on that. Well, looks like I need to buy some more brake clean. I'll have to go to the local O'Reilly's and procure more goods. I'm gonna find, oh, don't do that. I'm gonna find a way to keep this motor straight because, you know, the other thing that was holding this thing straight up and down was the well, or the water pump. So I'm gonna find a 2x4 or something just to keep it level, because that is the best thing to use when you're trying to change the oil, is a nice level surface. And I know it's not gonna be completely level because of this, but better than this when I'm putting oil back in it. So let me find something and then I will get back. Okay, so this is like the best example I can show you of what happens whenever you mix oil and water. Grab my light so you can really see down there. You know how chemistry teachers are always like, water and oil don't mix? Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Then you get milkshake. That's what that is. But that's from being left out in the weather, and it leaks past seals and all that fun stuff. So this drain plug is a 12 millimeter. So we're gonna try and get it broken loose, which I realize now that I need probably both hands to do. So let me see if I can. Can y'all see? Yeah, you can see. There it goes. I'm gonna get all this oil drained out and put some fresh 030 in it. Oh, there was water first. Yeah, okay, so we're gonna let this drain out for a bit into our oil storage container. That's yummy. Water came out first. That may be another reason why it wasn't wanting to run. So yeah, we'll probably spray something up in there, try and help that out a little one Well, guys, now that we're just kind of sitting here, is a perfect time to say make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. There's obviously plenty more content to come. As I do more videos, the better I'll get about, you know, how the content is brought about and everything like that. So, oh Lord, that's no good. That's no bueno. Yeah. I'm sure it's fine. It ran. That's actually pretty scary that it ran sitting like that. Sorry if the audio was bad in that last little bit. I had my hand over the speaker for a second. So, sorry about that. It's just continually draining. Yeah, to kind of emphasize on this, a lot of these motors only hold like 2 quarts of oil. So the fact that it was like, as soon as I took the fill plug out, was like pouring oil, means it had a lot of water in it. And I really probably should have drained it first. But, you know, you live and you learn. It ran. I wanted to hear it run before I spent the time and the necessities and equipment and material. That was the word I was looking for, was material. To do an oil change. So we finally got the oil to stop dripping out. I poured like a smidge of gas just to kind of break up anything, then sprayed some WD-40 and some PB Blast, which it doesn't say PB Blaster anywhere. It says Blaster, and then it says Penetrating Catalyst PB. I don't know. That's weird. I always remember it saying PB Blast. Put the drain plug back in the thing. Ah, no. Oh, no. Oh. Let me set y'all up. Right there. And then I'm going to tighten this thing without flipping the whole motor over. Hopefully. Okay. Let's give it one more oomph. Okay. And then we'll put this plug back in here. And there's this. Okay. So here is our fill plug. It says oil. Over there is our check plug. It's got a little dipstick. All right, so we are going to use some Fram SAE 0W30. Why? Because I got it 50% off. So oil change has been completed, but not without making a huge mess because I don't know. I guess I thought it was going to hold more than a quart, so I started getting through that quart, and the motor kind of went to an angle a little bit. Let me throw this rag away now. The motor kind of went to an angle a little bit, and oil poured out everywhere, and I was like, oh no, and then I forgot there was oil still in the funnel, and I pulled the funnel out, and then, yeah. So it made a mess, but, no. Oil change done. Let me get y'all set up, and we're going to pull it again and see if it idles. So I know this is not like the best angle in the world, but sorry about that. That's a bracket. All right, switch is on, choke also on. Gas smells gassy. Filter is tight. Fresh oil is installed. Hey. Okay, so it was running on choke mostly, but it was running. Sounds a lot better too. I'm gonna open this door again because it's starting to smell like gas in here. There. Door is open. Let's see if we can't get it going again. Come on. Okay. So we heard it run once, you know. We all heard it run. I think I'm going to give my shoulder a break for tonight and come back tomorrow. Trying to put this little O-ring that's been out of place for a little while. And come back tomorrow, pull on it some, you know, try and get it to pop off. But I'm going to pull it on a little bit more and just see what it will do. Let me get a little cup or something. Got a measuring cup around here somewhere. And put some gas in it. Oh, here we go. Even better. An old laundry scoop. Put just a touch of gas in it, because it may want the real stuff. This stuff right here is premium grade 87 gasoline from a local racetrack. Is that probably flooded? Probably. We'll take it off choke. Throttle is wide open. Let's close the throttle a little bit. If we can just get it running long enough to clean all this junk out, come on. Okay, so what it's looking like is I'm going to pull the carb off tomorrow, go through it, clean it, and drain that fuel tank, put some fresh gas in it, see if that doesn't help our cause, because, you know, fresh fuel never hurt anything. Make sure all this wiring and stuff, which looks like it's been, no, it's all original. Okay. But yeah, we'll pull this carb off tomorrow. Probably clean all the jets out and all that, because it's acting like it's just not getting fuel sometimes. So that's probably exactly what it is, or there's just trash. So we'll drain that tank into a decently clean container that's clear, so we can, you know, see what all's in it. All right, guys, so we're back out here again tonight. Got off work about an hour ago, and we're gonna pull this carburetor off because yesterday it was wanting to run, but only on choke. So all that holds the carburetor and this little air intake assembly on is there's two nuts, because there's two long studs that stick through, and this little bolt back here. And of course, they're all 10 millimeters. So I spent about, 10 minutes looking for a 10 millimeter. I say all that's holding it on is that. Shut the fuel off. This little clamp that's twisted around this vent line is kind of holding us back. Now, this is held on by literally nothing. So it should, in theory, just come right off. But it's not going to do that, is it? Let's turn this more fuel valves on. It's just, probably should have done this yesterday, but spray some WD-40 on all of this. Let that marinate. This little fuel line right here is what's coming from the tank. I'm gonna try and get it off and drain what is in the tank out. Get some fresh gas in this thing. I've got an old pork rind container. It's clear. It's not the cleanest thing, but it is clear nonetheless. So let's see if I can get something to prop this up. That'll be good right there. I have y'all kind of resting on the stand for the dually bob, the motor. Yeah, it's interesting to come home and after working all day and having to use the half brain cell I've got, and then come home and try to, think to be able to explain what I'm doing, which really and truthfully, I don't even know what I'm doing half the time. Fuel cap off. It doesn't look terrible. I bet you I could just run it to like a filter or a strainer and it'd be fine. Yeah. So here we have the carburetor out. This little detent I was talking about for the float bowl, where you got your float bowl and a little detent with a spring. There's the rod that holds it in place, and it goes in that little bore. And that is what, shuts your fuel off when the bowl is full. So, yeah, I'm going to kind of get this thing all apart. I just wanted to show you all that before I forgot. I'm going to get this thing all apart, or mostly apart, and kind of get everything cleaned up, all the jets and everything cleaned out. All right, so we got the carburetor all back together. It really wasn't that bad. The only thing that was bad was right where this bolt goes in, there's like a brass, it's like a jet. It's the main feed that kind of pushes fuel up into, let's see, you should be able to see through there. That little brass piece right in there, that's where the fuel comes up through the bowl. It was decently dirty. Best thing you can do for like a carburetor is get you a set of these torch tip cleaners that have the little file end on them. And you can run them through all the jets, got all the different sizes, and then get you're supposed to use like brake clean. I don't have any right now. I gotta go buy some. I used starting fluid and a little bit of WD-40, and then just blew everything off. So let's get this carburetor stuck back on, put some fresh fuel in here, and hopefully, and bolt the intake back on, and hopefully this thing will fire up and idle on its own for the first time in, like, I think a year is what the guy said. So yeah, let's get this thing on. Go on with the carburetor is the reverse order of how it came off. I know. Shocking. And we're gonna get this fuel line, wedged it on there, and the beautiful little squish clamps that they have. You're not really supposed to reuse these for like high pressure systems, but for something like this, it's not making a whole lot of pressure, so it's okay to reuse them. But like if you're like working on like a car or something, don't reuse the little squish clamps. Squeeze clamps is what they're called. There we go. Get the little return spring back in the little hole and push it all the way on. Perfect. And then it'll be choke on, choke off. Take this little gasket. Right there. There it is. Get the little gasket. Make sure that you position it correctly. It can only go on one way. And you put it on so that way all of your passages can be seen. If you put it on wrong, it won't let air through certain passages, and then you'll have an incorrect mixture. Yeah, come on. Let's turn the choke on so we can feed it in a little bit better. Because all of this kind of has to be okay. Vent line hooked up. Oh. I have a little screwdriver around here, but let's get these nuts started on the intake. And kind of get this bolt that goes right there. Well, 10mm bolt. Get it started. And where did I put my ratchet? Oh, that's right. I remember it. I remember now. It fell. And then you'll just kind of get these snug on here. You know, don't gorilla this thing down. You're not trying to, hold together the Empire State Building. You're literally just trying to hold this carburetor on so it doesn't have any vacuum leaks. And then get your little extension. And you can get around the cage a little bit better. Okay, that is nice and on there now. Let's get some fresh gas in this thing. Where'd my funnel go? I had it last, and there it is. Some fresh gas in this thing out of my super sophisticated gas jug 9000, which is literally just a solvent container that I got from work that they were about to throw away. And I was like, hey, I don't want to go spend $20 on a gas can. So, and I mean, it's rated for parts washing solution, so All right, let me get some fresh gas in this, and then I'll get y'all back because I need 2 hands. All right, so has fuel. That is on. It's got fresh fuel in it. Went through and did a quick clean of the carb. Nothing, you know, didn't want to pull the whole thing apart. It's got a bend in it. I just noticed that. All right, let's see if she will. Get a little help at first to pull some of that fuel up. And little breath of some go. Choke is still on, fuel still on. Okay, I'm gonna figure something out so I don't have to keep pulling this thing, because it's no fun. So I'll get back with y'all in a few. I don't know if y'all can hear me, but the motor's idling pretty good actually. I couldn't ever find anything, so I just kind of started pulling on it. Tightened up the spark plug a little bit. Now that it's got that good gas in it, it seems to be running pretty good actually. So yeah, I'm gonna let it run for a little bit and kind of put the air intake back together, and then that one's done. All right, guys, I got it all buttoned up. Just made sure it ran again. You know, you can't really hear anything while it's running, so I tried not to have it running and record at the same time, so I kind of stepped outside while I had it idling. Runs good. It has a little bit of a backfire, but I'm sure it just needs to clean out all the lines and everything. But well, guys, yeah, I really appreciate you watching. I know this is a very long video, and thank you to everyone who stuck through to this part. Really appreciate it. Our next project is probably going to be one of the lawnmowers outside. Maybe something in here. I'm trying to get everything kind of cleaned up in here so I can bring lawnmowers in here and work on them, especially the one, the little Cub Cadet needs a head gasket, and it's got a little 13 horsepower motor, and I really don't want to do that outside, especially having to wait on parts. So I would like to try and get everything in here done first before I tear that apart. But I've got a couple more lawnmowers around here that I can do outside. One of them I know is going to be a decently quick fix, so not as long of a video. But I know I've said it already, but make sure to like and subscribe, share the video. I really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you for watching, and hope to see you again on 10 Shed Shenanigans.